Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us for this preview of what will be a massive weekend of Muay Thai down here in Victoria. Starting off at the Melbourne Pavilion, you can expect to see some of the best up-and-coming talent from Victoria as they compete in Muay Thai Victoria Showcase, special showcase to warm up the audience in attendance ahead of the Roots Eliminator, Kitty form work, getting behind that incredible four-man eliminator at the top. Again, it's a sample of what's to come in the future of Australian Muay Thai with Roots. And then we move towards the big one at the end of the night. The Road to Rajadamnern series continues in Australia with some massive international names and some of what Australia's best have to offer as they go head to head. In the commentary booth will be the man on screen, Hugh O'Donnell. Hugh O'Donnell, an exciting partnership taking place in the commentary booth, for which will be a credible night of action. Talk us through how this came about.
Yes, I've got the call up. I'm getting back into the Rebellion booth because I'm loved and wanted and not because Matt Williams is unavailable, of course. I will be reuniting with one of my favorite Australian combat sports broadcasters, Jimmy Miles, he's blown some cobwebs off the commentary microphone, I believe. He's been present on Roots and Rebellion, centering as an MC, but will be joining me ringside to call the shots. So really excited for this one. I think Jimmy's a serious asset to any broadcast booth, and I'm looking forward to pulling the shots with him.
Yeah, it's so cool. I love listening to you both. James, Jimmy Miles, he has fought on the early Rebellion cards. I believe maybe even at the Red Cat way back. All three of us from Torquay, as it would turn out. Jimmy Miles also is famous in the professional surfing realm with his podcast and with World Series Surf League too. So yeah, fantastic! Can't wait to kick back and listen to you to the best brains in the business. And you can catch all the action on livecombatsports.com.au as per usual, and you do not want to miss it. So, Hugh, let's like a massive day of Muay Thai. Amazing Thailand getting behind this one. So there'll be the cultural showcase in the background. I know the team from Rajadamnern are over for this, Warm and Tashi and the crew will be here in
looking forward to
attendance.
seeing them on the night.
Absolutely. So yeah, a great opportunity for Australian-based athletes to get out and show kind of the leaders in this industry space what they're all about. But two guys that are absolutely familiar to everyone who'll be in attendance is Damien Alamos and Tanzanite, which make up our main event for the evening, 138 pounds, I believe that one is. Damien Alamos, of course, 76 fights now, 61 wins, three-time Limpini champion, one-time WMC world champion, and has fought, just about everyone there is to fight. Was fighting in the heyday of the Crit Cry Limpini days. So guys like Sanchai, Tongchai, Petnongchai, of course, who we saw him come back against here at Rebellion. What a day that was. Well, he's stepping up against Tanzanite 168, who's made his home in Victoria recently and has been the more active out of the two. Was, still kind of in the prime, the middle of his career when he moved over to Australia to set up his life with his beautiful fiance now, Kristen, and take the job at 168, WMO world champion, One Song Chai champion too, I believe, back in the day, and of course, True for You champion, where he did so much of his good work. This is an intriguing matchup, my friend. We had Damien Alamos down in Torquay. He came and ran a seminar for us down here, and he asked me about this matchup. And me as a Muay Thai fan, I'm like, yes, I want to see that matchup. But I've become familiar and friendly with both guys over the years. So you'll find me like a New South Wales judge, sitting firmly up on top of the fence for this one, not having a buck either way. But you'll be there in the flesh. It'd be your job to analyse this fight. How does it play out?
How does it play out? Your guess is really as good as mine. I think these are two versatile stylists, two guys that can give you different looks. Tarkson, of course, quite long and tall for the weight, a brilliant left kicker. Damien Alamos in recent years has become really well known for his command of the ring, that kind of like true femur trickery. However, when he was a bit younger and coming up through the Thai Stadium scene, he could play a very aggressive game. I spoke to him a couple of weeks ago, and he said he's quite comfortable sort of playing the role of the Muay Thai, and he can do that when he needs to. And this one is so fascinating to me because Damien is kind of in uncharted territory for his career. We recall over a decade ago now, it felt to a lot of fans like he stepped away right at the height of his powers, which was something of a surprise. Had a quiet few years, then became well known for his teaching and his seminars. And I guess got that fire back and decided after a full 10 years away, he was going to give it another go. And that was a big, kind of a shock to a lot of people that it was going to be on Rebellion. He had his comeback fight in Melbourne, but he just doesn't have it in him to warm up or to step down. He said, I want to come back into the game and I want to pick up right where I left off. And he went for a guy right at the top of the Rajadamnern rankings in Petongchai. And now this is a fight where he has hit a little bit of rough form, which I don't know if he ever has before. He's a guy who's used to winning. And once again, he's come back for a few fights and said, you know what? I'm not finished, but I'm going to turn this thing around. And he switched up his preparation. He has said to me in speaking to him, I don't think he, makes a secret of, he thinks he's got more to give in terms of how he's been preparing for fights since he's come back, but wants to reach right to the top of the pack once again and go for one of the most brilliant technicians of this era in Taksin Lek. But he's said that he needs to, get himself back into that kind of environment that he prepared for fights in Thailand. So has been preparing with my former stable Sitsoton in Sydney under Aram and an elite team of Thais. And he looks the physically fittest that he has since he's come back. I've done some clinch and sparring with him just a little bit when I was visiting Sydney, and I'm noticing from I got to watch him hit pads. I got to kind of like I got to get a feel for where he's at physically in the clinch. And this was a few weeks ago. So he would have continued to prepare since then. I think he's the most physically prepared that he's been. And he has kind of let me know that he's willing to play that more front foot game and walk Taksin Lek down if he needs to. So how it's going to play out, look, I'm not sure on the game plan that the team in Sydney have prepared for this one, but I think you could expect to see possibly a more aggressive Damien Alamos looking to cut off those long kicks of Taksin Lek.
Yeah, and it's the big left kick of Taksin Lek that's given so many people trouble over the course of their careers, most notably igniting the Cambodia-Thailand conflict with that big head kick knockout in February on Rebellion. Taksin Lek, an aggressive technician. Pet Dong Tai frustrates a lot of guys. He's just so good at capturing a point and just defending it. And at times, Damien Alamos looked quite frustrated, wanted to get his hands on him even when he came forward. But Taksin Lek, he will play off the back foot, but he'll meet you there too. So whatever way this cookie crumbles, it's a really intriguing matchup. And knowing what I know of Australian Muay Thai fans, the significance of this bout will not be lost on them. A very educated group of Muay Thai fans and as a community will really appreciate the value of having two legit world champions and two legit technicians going head to head for the main event. It's a real treat.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really looking forward to it.
Our co-main event, a lady who is no stranger to the Melbourne Pavilion and brings with her, wherever she goes, her own army. It is the Lioness Joanne La from the western suburbs of Melbourne, out of 8 Blades, and now representing her own stable as well, JS Muay Thai, a fabulous community that she's built down there in the inner west, taking on a traveling international competitor in Maria. How do I say this? Q.
Eduardo, to the very best of my knowledge. Excuse me if that's incorrect.
Eduarda, yep, perfect. And Eduarda, of course, is in the peak of her performance, a three-time Brazilian champion. She's the third-ranked fighter in the 119-pound weight class at Rajadamnern. She's beaten and a regular on RWS, beating guys, women like Zara Dogan, Carolina Arm, and Ada Luxai as well, who's no pushover. So yeah, oh, hang on. So that's Joanne La. That's Joanne La.
That's
But they
Joanne Lar,
share
yeah.
some. That's Joanne La. They share some. Maybe these glasses just need to be turned up just a little bit. I'm reading it off a napkin which I wrote on because we're on bare budget down here in Torquay. But they've shared mutual opponents. Eduarda, sorry, has beaten Dogan, but she beat Sevgei Dogan, a different a different Zogan there. And it's the LWC Super Champion earlier this year. So a very heavy hitter, has got great hands, as we expect a lot of the Brazilians to come equipped with. Joanne La, she loves to throw the hands herself. Is very good at covering large amounts of range, which she often does in the Superman pose with the cape fluttering in the breeze. An exciting fight. And, again, the international reach of the Outliers Promotions put together an excellent co-main event for the Road to Rajadamnern Series, Hugh.
Yeah, love this fight. I've covered a lot of Joanne's career because she is such a regular on the Roots and Rebellion scene. And often a comment that I make in the lead up to Joanne's fights is, how is the opponent going to deal with the punching power of Joanne? A lot of her opponents can't match her for, fight altering power, and that's Joanne likes to step center and make that felt. It's the job of the opponent to kind of work around that. However, I do believe this time around, potentially Joanne is matched for power. It's sort of a race to the center. But what these two like to do, I would kind of liken to a matchup of almost like the boxer versus the puncher, if you will. Joanne likes to throw in combination, create openings for her power shots with busy level changing work. Maria, a little bit better known for heavy single shots, but can also really play the counter up the center with the elbows. So that's, this time around, it's a little bit like the tables turn a little bit. Joanne's got to be a little bit more wary as she covers that space. Maria does make her opponents run into shots at times. Will be interesting to see. I think you'll see play out in the early rounds who can control that center, and that's going to be a big indicator of how the fight plays out, I believe.
Yeah, really interesting matchup, and for with the Brazilian already having an international profile fighting in Rajadamnern, this is a really unique opportunity, and maybe a long time coming for Joanne La to impress on the international community. Her ability and what 2016 or what later 2025 could lead to with the finale of the Road to Rajadamnern series in Bangkok. It could be the next step up for Joanne La, Victoria's Joanne La. So an exciting co-main event. I'll tell you what, the one before this, though, will be hard to match. Daniel Matthews has become a regular on the Outliers Promotions, starting off in Muay Thai Victoria, then charging on like Godzilla through Roots, then onto the Rebellion cards. One of my favourite fighters to watch is Daniel Matthews, the big, tall southpaw, hard left kick, and he'll be taking on Jake Luknung Ubon, who's I believe is now found a home in Adelaide with Adelaide Muay Thai.
Yep.
What can you tell us about these two?
Interesting fight. I like it. Jake, very experienced, a guy I've seen making his name on the scene in Thailand. but in a kind of a different pathway than you see from a lot of guys. Has fought a lot up in the north, um, as well as some of the Phuket stadiums, and just kind of starting to crack those entertainment shows. So he'd be up close to 40 fights of experience, I think. Just before making his way down to Adelaide was becoming a regular on SKS, the Sunday night show at Rajadamnern, where he did get a little taste of truly elite level competition and fought Valentin Tibau.
Mm.
So battle tested, a lot of experience, very technical, long and big for the weight. Um, really tall, long limbs, uses his elbows very well. Going to have some pretty different looks for the southpaw Daniel Matthews.
Yeah, really interesting fight, and it adds some local depth to an international main act. But both guys destined for bigger things in the future as they carve out an international career for themselves. And with all eyes on the Melbourne Pavilion on the 15th of November, you bet, yeah, they'll be looking to make a splash. Before that, we have the opening bout of the main card. Adisha Shafi takes on now local Victorian, formerly by way of Western Australia, I believe, and Eli Everett. Eli Everett coming off a big win on Warriors Way that had the crowd on their feet. If you want to start the party right, get the party started, you call Eli Everett. He knows how to turn up and turn it on. Adisha Shafi, he was originally scheduled to fight, I think it was in 2024 versus Josh King, but was forced to withdraw due to illness. So now gets punches his return ticket, and great to see him back on Australian shores, Hugh.
Yeah, absolutely. An interesting matchup in terms of career position for both of these guys. I actually think both are based in Bangkok at the moment. So they'll be
right.
coming. Yeah, I know Eli has been
Strike
spending some
Studio,
time.
back and forth, perhaps.
Yeah, I know he has spent some time recently at Eminent Air, looking to start making a name for himself on the Bangkok scene, where Artishi has been pretty firmly placed training out of FA Group. So two very strong camps, some good experience to rack up. I think it's a matter of we've seen Artishi kind of start to get a foot in the door at that kind of RWS higher level entertainment with mixed form. So now kind of takes that step back, trying to get himself another shot versus Eli, who recently came back off a pretty long layoff to get back in the mix against one of the hottest prospects in Victoria right now, Dasakorn from Eight Blades. So it's a little bit of a meet in the middle, I guess. Eli wants to make that name, get a shot on some of these bigger shows like RWS. Artist trying to get back up there, prove that he belongs. So two hungry guys looking to kind of break into that next level is sort of how I see this one.
Yeah, nice, and a great way to open up the road to Raja main card. I will certainly be tuning in for that right from the start. You don't want to miss any of that. The audience in attendance and joining on livecombatsports.com.au will be well and truly heated up in the evening, because preceding this, we have the Roots four-man eliminator, the Kitty Formwork eliminator, $5,000 cash up for grabs, and no doubt a spot on a major platform in 2026. The Roots tradition being kept alive of showcasing rising Australian talent. So some of these guys haven't had a ton of fights, but have certainly impressed on those who matter. I've had the pleasure of commentating all of the guys on this card, and it's a really exciting mix for the four-man. So let's touch on it quickly, and maybe at the end, the Houston Rocket, I'll challenge you to pick a winner. Maybe we'll put $20 on it. Competing, we have Amir Reza, we have Jager Rogerson, Pierre Duihi in a quick turnaround, fighting on 1774 only a number of weeks ago, and Vinay Lim out of the Strike Studio. What do you make of this, four-man?
What I like about this, and it is also quite telling of the developmental focus of Roots and the Muay Thai Victoria pathway from end to end, is there's actually a lot of potential rematches across this bracket.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
on both sides, guys, there's two matchups here where guys have recently fought each other. Pierre fought Amir, and the other two fought each other recently as well. So I'm not sure if this is a random draw tournament or it's pre-matched. I haven't really. Yeah, I know in general it's a name out of a hat situation, but also they're more commonly eight-man tournaments. I think if you were
mm,
going to seed and match this right from the jump, you would shuffle everyone up so you're not putting on two immediate rematches, but that's a possibility too. Couple of interesting stories here is also that Amir has taken the leap and gone over to Thailand to train and compete full time. Been busy on the sort of Phuket entertainment scene, which at this sort of roots up and coming professional level, that's a very good format to fight in. It's 5 rounds, good way to get experience, and there's a good level of opposition available with the right management. So he's been doing very well. He's made some great form since losing to Pierre on a recent Roots event. So there are some potential rematches, but one of the things that's always so fascinating about a Roots eliminator is how fast these guys get better.
mm.
And you and I also, of course, commentated Pierre, the lone interstater, in the bracket. And this is a guy that I think we both looked at his performance 4 weeks ago and said, this could be a guy. This is
Yeah.
someone that's on the come up and he's ready to break through. So an interesting an interesting position to be in leading into a one night tournament on Roots because I think this is a situation where looking at the form and the skill of all four guys in the bracket, the one who picks up 2 wins is definitely a guy who is next in line, next to get pushed up to the forefront of what is an absolutely pumping super lightweight division in Australia.
And if I was to challenge you to, put your money where your mouth is on your measly bones MMA paycheck, where does your money lie?
Well, you're going to accuse me of some kind of state-based allegiance, but I find it very difficult to pick against Pierre from SRG in this one.
I totally agree. He's so well equipped for a tournament like this. Even if these were head-to-head matchups, I'd certainly be leaning towards him. But he's got some real power in his hands, in particularly his left hook. He's a very smart boxer
Mm.
as well. He's able to play all facets of the game. Loved how we listened to his corner up on 70-74. Some interesting matchups in there, some very different stylistic matchups on the cards. But my money would have to lie with Pierre going into this too. Um, Fantastic. Love a good four-man. Of course, Root's now developing a history of putting on these tournaments. And it's an awesome way to lead into a massive night of action on the road to Rajadamnern. Don't forget the start of the day, starting off with a showcase of Muay Thai Victoria's best. A small number of fights taking place on that. You'll be there wearing many hats on the day. You'll be cornering one of our young students on Muay Thai Victoria, which would be cool. So hopefully you don't lose your voice because you've got a big night of work in front of you. Yeah, the Houston Rocket.
Yeah, I might have to sneak back to the car for a nap in between the Motor Victoria and the Rebellion car. But good, happy. It's actually my first time involved in a Muay Thai Victoria as a Victorian too. So yeah, young fella Kai is a good one to start with. And probably my first day back to how I used to be involved in Thai boxing events before I went away to just be changing hats through the day. Um, haven't jumped back in and refereed again yet, but I'm gradually working my way back to all my jobs.
Yeah, love it, mate. And it's so good to have you in Victoria, uh, uh, leading the charge internationally. From leading the Australian charge internationally is Hugh O'Donnell, massive wing, of course, over Tong on RWS, and more to come in 2026. Stay locked in to the social media of Hugh O'Donnell. No matter where you are, whether you're in Victoria or whether you're in elsewhere in Australia or overseas, make sure you tune in to livecombatsports.com.au to check out all the action. In the commentary booth will be Hugh O'Donnell and Jimmy Miles, fantastic pairing. I'll be tuning in and can't wait to recap all of the action from the evening taking place on the 15th of November at the Melbourne Pavilion. Hugh, absolute pleasure. We'll catch you guys all on the flip side.